Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, we're going to watch one of my all-time favorite horror movies. This one's called The Pit. We're going to watch the Blu-ray. Let's check it out. Our film starts out with a little foreshadowing, oddly enough.
Who are you?
I'm Jamie. I was wondering if I could join the club.
These events happen later in the film. He lures that bully out in the woods.
See? There it is.
He told him there was some
Just
treasure.
like I told.
Bag filled with jewels and things. He pushes him in the pit. That's Jamie spying on the school librarian. He's been cutting these pictures out of these magazines, these nudie art pictures, and he put the librarian's picture on top of that body. Jamie's mother.
He's going through that difficult stage.
They're hiring a babysitter for the summer.
You know, girls. Yes.
Does he have a girlfriend?
Jamie has no friends. Nobody likes him.
Poor parents have decided to move elsewhere. You grow up. Surely, my dear, but into what? One of those...
They were interviewing Sandy, the new babysitter.
No matter how you look at it.
Jamie uses this opportunity to look up her dress. Nice little upskirt shot for Jamie Benjamin.
None of that, young man.
She wants to be nice.
So the parents are gone for several months.
She's got a boyfriend.
Jamie talks to his teddy bear.
He isn't her real boyfriend.
Teddy.
He's just a friend.
Teddy again.
Oh, I heard. But she's beautiful, isn't she?
Yes.
Jamie's watching her sleep.
Jenny, what are you doing in here? I was just watching you sleep. Like to tell me?
He's going to share his secret.
I know where there's a huge hole in the ground. Big hole in the ground? It's in the woods, about a mile away. And at the bottom of the hole, down in the dark, there's some things.
Here's what Jamie's talking about. The big hole in the woods.
I'm your friend. Can you hear me?
They're not moving, but oh, now
Do
they
you
are.
talk to people?
There are some trolls or something down there. This little bitch Abigail says, "Try my bike, Jamie."
What on earth is going on here?
Let Jamie try my bike.
Now in a film with a bunch of odd scenes, this is one of the oddest. Teddy, his little teddy bear, who talks in Jamie's voice, is it alive?
Do you know why my mother washes me so much?
Washes you so much.
There's a lot going on in this film.
Does she do that?
Yeah. She really trying to make me clean.
Anyway, Jamie is now feeding some meat to what he calls the trollologs. He went to the butcher. Jamie is a little pervert, obviously, and as Sandy's taking a shower, he goes in there and writes, "I love you," which she's not going to appreciate, I assure you.
Go in there and write that on the mirror while I was taking a shower.
Yes?
Well, enough is enough, young man. Do I make myself clear? No matter what you want to say to me, you just don't come into the bathroom with...
Back for another feeding. This time he brought Teddy along.
That's that. No more.
He's out of money, though.
Do you have left?
Hello, Miss Livingston.
An interesting perverted
Yes,
scene.
who is it?
You have a niece named Abigail?
He's calling from a payphone and has a recording of his voice. He says that I've kidnapped Abigail. He tells her, "You got to strip in front of the window for me to get Abigail back." I can't show you at all, but she does show the boobs.
All right, damn you. You want to see my body?
Jamie took photos.
I bet Abigail was surprised. Look at the look in her face.
I'm gonna look at these alive.
After unsuccessfully trying to steal meat from a meat truck, he's now trying to drag a cow to the pit to feed.
You don't know it, but somebody's gonna come and take you away and kill you. Abigail, I know where there's a bicycle path that no one has ever ridden. Nobody can. Especially not a girl.
Oh, really?
So he lures her to the woods.
You crummy little rat. You give me my bike. My aunt will call the police on you.
Apparently she didn't see the hole. Then he kidnaps Mrs. Oliphant in her wheelchair. You know where she's headed. Then there's Alan, babysitter's boyfriend. He was supposed to play football with him. He's getting rid of everybody he doesn't like. Now we've caught up to that first scene in the movie, the Halloween dance or whatever at school. Louis Freddie Phelps pushes him in, and the pretty girl, after he scares her and she passes out.
Goodbye, pretty girl. You? No.
Sandy's missing Alan, boyfriend.
Was that supposed to be my fault?
This was possible. Oh, I knew it.
He decides to share the secret.
Teddy was right.
She didn't believe him, of course, until she saw it. And then, oops! He tried to save her, but she slipped and fell. Couldn't pull her up. And she gets eaten. Jamie took the pretty girl's tutu and the pictures
this being in your car.
of the librarian
And these. Only a weirdo does stuff like
to
this.
try to frame this guy, put him in his car. Since he's out of money to feed them and got no evil people left to push in,
I'll come back, but I don't think so.
he gives them a rope and says, you guys can crawl out on your own. And those creatures do in fact come up on their own, and they're now wreaking havoc in town. This other girl named Karen, who was going to go skinny dipping with her boyfriend, she gets dragged off.
Karen!
When the boyfriend goes to look for her, found her.
Karen!
A vigilante is now formed to chase the trollocs. Back to the hole. Hunters aren't going to stand for them.
Shoot them!
And that's the end of our trollocs. The film ends with Jamie going to live with his grandparents out in the rural area somewhere.
Hello, Jamie!
He meets Alicia.
Hi.
Hi. Are you the new boy that's gonna live here?
Yeah, I guess. I'm Jamie.
I'm Alicia.
She lures him out into the woods, and guess what she has in her area? Her own pit.
They're trollocs.
Jamie says they eat people. She says, yes, I know. Alright, let's talk about The Pit. This is a movie that I originally copied from a video store. I think it was Denny's Video in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. I think that's where I got this movie from. And I watched the movie, and I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. And I have watched this movie many, many times over the years. This is one of those that's a personal favorite of mine. It's just so quirky and weird, and I love Jamie's character. And it's just an awesome film. Plus, it kind of goes all over the place a little bit. There's trollocs, these troll things like troglodytes. So it's a monster movie in that regard. But then there's also the part about his teddy bear, which Jamie talks to, and we hear Teddy talk back. Of course, it's in Jamie's voice, so we think it's in his head. And then there's that one crazy scene where the teddy bear actually moves its head. And you're like, what the hell is this movie now? As I recall, I think the director didn't like that, or maybe the writer who wrote this book, it was a book actually first, didn't like that, thought it was, didn't know what the hell these filmmakers were doing. But I think I read somewhere else that the character of Jamie was supposed to be thought of as autistic, too, at some point. I don't know. Don't know for sure, but he's a little pervert, and I love him. He's played by Sammy Snyders, who I actually tracked down once. I think he was living in Toronto. This is about maybe 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. And I talked to him about the movie a little bit. It was kind of cool. I think he's working at some like dance studio or a ballet studio or something like that. So he was kind of interested and gave me some tidbits about it. And in fact, it was filmed in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, which is about a half hour of where I sit right now. So anyway, the movie itself, there are these trollocs who live in the hole in the ground, and Jamie's the only one who knows about them, and he starts feeding them, and eventually he runs out of meat, so he decides to lure people into the pit and drop them down. Of course, eventually the trollocs escape, and they wreak havoc all over town until the cops shoot them all and hush it up so nobody ever hears about them again. Our film ends with Jamie going to visit his grandparents. I guess he's going to live there for a while, and he meets his little girl, Alicia, who takes him out in the woods, and then she has her own pit. And Jamie knows right away what it is, and then, of course, she pushes him into the pit, and that's how our film ends. Again, love this film. I'm so happy that it got a Blu-ray release put up by Kino Lorber. In fact, it's such a good release. There's an interview with Sammy Snyders on here, about 16 minutes long. There's an interview with Jeannie Elias, who played the babysitter. She's in here, too. And it's just a really cool movie. I'd like to go to Beaver Dam and try to track down some of the sites, although from what I've heard, there's not much left to be seen. But anyway, I want to do it anyway because it's so close. Why not, right? So anyway, you can get The Pit. I originally had the DVD. It was on a double DVD with the movie Hellgate, I think it was called. And then the Blu-ray came out about maybe 2 years ago or so. I don't know. It's pretty cool, though. But you can get this DVD. I don't think it's that expensive. It's probably in the $20 range, but it's well worth it. It's just a weird, quirky, fun horror flick. It's fantastic. Couple of brief nude scenes in here as well. Just a cool movie. Sammy Snyders didn't do anything after 1982, I think. He was also in The Last Chase, another movie of mine. And just a few other things before he retired and went to the ballet school up in Toronto. So anyway, check it out. It's The Pit. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. Do you love this movie as much as I do? One of the greatest ever. Watch it. Bye.